Have you ever stood in a shelter looking at rows of cats and noticed something strange? The black cats seem invisible. The white cats glow like little angels under the fluorescent lights. But here's what most people don't realize. The color of your cat's fur tells a story that goes far deeper than what meets the eye. A story written in ancient genes, shaped by human superstition, and yes, one that still affects which cats find homes and which ones wait in shelters far too long. Today we're diving into the fascinating world of black versus white cats. And trust me, by the end of this video, you'll never look at cat color the same way again. If you're a cat lover who wants to understand your feline friend on a deeper level, hit that subscribe button so you don't miss our upcoming videos on cat behavior and care. Let's start with a question that might seem simple but has a surprisingly complex answer. Why is a cat black or white in the first place? Picture a tiny kitten still in its mother's womb, just beginning to form. At that exact moment, a genetic lottery is taking place. For black cats, it all comes down to a gene that produces eumelanin, the pigment responsible for dark colors. When this gene is fully expressed and there are no other color-modifying genes interfering, you get a cat that's solid black from nose to tail. But here's something most people don't know. Truly solid black cats are actually relatively rare. Many cats that appear black actually have faint tabby stripes that you can only see in bright sunlight. These ghost markings are like a secret message from their wild ancestors, a reminder that even the sleekest black house cat carries the DNA of striped wild cats. White cats, on the other hand, are playing an entirely different genetic game. You might think white is simply the absence of color, but it's actually the presence of a gene that masks all other colors. It's like putting a white sheet over a painting. The colors are still there. In the cat's genetic code, they're just hidden. This is why two white cats can sometimes produce kittens of completely different colors, because underneath that white mask, they're carrying genes for orange, black, tabby, or any combination. And here's something that might blow your mind. A cat can carry the genes for both black and white, but express only one or the other. That's why you sometimes see a mostly white cat with a black spot, or a black cat with a white locket on its chest. The genetic programming is there. It's just being selectively expressed in different parts of the body. But does color affect personality? Let's tackle one of the biggest myths in the cat world. Have you ever heard someone say, black cats are more mysterious, or white cats are more elegant and aloof? I've heard these claims hundreds of times, and I'm going to be completely honest with you. There is zero scientific evidence that coat color directly determines personality in cats. Let me repeat that because it's important. Zero scientific evidence. What we do have is something called confirmation bias. If you believe black cats are mysterious, you're more likely to interpret your black cat's behavior as mysterious. When your white cat sits regally on the windowsill, you think, see, so elegant. But when your black cat does exactly the same thing, you might not make that connection at all. The truth is, personality in cats is shaped by genetics, yes, but not the genes that control fur color. It's influenced by their early socialization, their mother's temperament, how they were raised, their individual experiences, and yes, even their breed if they're a purebred. But coat color? That's just packaging. I've known black cats who were absolute clowns, bouncing off the walls with energy. I've known white cats who were cuddly lap warmers, and vice versa. The color of the fur tells you nothing about what's happening in that little cat brain. However, and this is fascinating, there is some preliminary research suggesting that the genes controlling black fur might sometimes be linked to genes affecting certain behavioral traits. But we're talking about subtle tendencies, not personality determinism. A black cat isn't destined to be friendly or aloof any more than a white cat is. So if you're choosing a cat based on color and expecting a certain personality, you're setting yourself up for disappointment. Choose a cat based on how they interact with you, how they behave in the shelter or foster home, and whether their energy level matches your lifestyle. Now let's talk about something that actually does differ between black and white cats, their health considerations. Here's a scenario you might not have considered. It's a beautiful summer day, and your white cat is lounging in that perfect patch of sunlight streaming through your window. Looks peaceful, right? But did you know that white cats, especially those with pink skin visible on their ears and nose, are at significantly higher risk for skin cancer? Yes, cats can get skin cancer. And white cats are particularly vulnerable because they lack the protective melanin that darker-colored cats have. Those adorable pink ear tips, they're essentially unprotected skin getting bombarded with UV radiation every time your cat sunbathes. If you have a white cat, especially one that goes outdoors or loves to sit in sunny windows, you need to be vigilant about sun exposure. Some veterinarians recommend pet-safe sunscreen on those vulnerable pink areas. You might also consider UV-blocking window film or making sure your white cat has plenty of shaded areas to retreat to. But white cats face another health concern that might surprise you: deafness. There's a strong genetic link between white fur, blue eyes, and congenital deafness in cats. If a white cat has 2 blue eyes, there's a 65 to 85% chance they're deaf. 1 blue eye? About 40% chance of deafness in the ear on the same side as the blue eye. White cats with eyes that aren't blue have a much lower risk, though it's still higher than in colored cats. This doesn't mean white cats with blue eyes can't be wonderful pets. They absolutely can. But they do require some special considerations. They can't hear cars, predators, or other dangers, so they should never be allowed to roam outdoors unsupervised. They also startle more easily because they can't hear you approaching. So you'll need to learn to get their attention through touch or vibration, rather than calling their name. Now, what about black cats? Do they have special health concerns? Here's some good news. Black cats are generally pretty healthy from a genetic standpoint. In fact, there's some research suggesting that the genes responsible for black fur might actually be linked to stronger immune systems. Scientists have observed that black cats may have genetic mutations that make them more resistant to certain diseases, including some forms of FIV, the feline version of HIV. This makes evolutionary sense. In the wild, the traits that get passed down are the ones that help animals survive. If black fur happened to be genetically linked to disease resistance, black cats would have a survival advantage, and those genes would spread through the population. But black cats do face one practical health-related challenge. It's harder to spot health problems on dark fur. A white cat develops a skin issue, and you'll probably notice redness or irritation pretty quickly. On a black cat, those same symptoms can be nearly invisible until they're quite advanced. This means if you have a black cat, you need to be extra diligent about regular grooming sessions, where you're not just brushing, but actually looking at and feeling the skin underneath that dark fur. Let's talk about grooming, because yes, black and white cats do have slightly different care needs. Think about your favorite black shirt. Now think about how it looks after your white cat has been cuddling with you. White fur on black fabric is incredibly visible, right? Well, the same principle applies in reverse. If you have a black cat, every speck of dust, every bit of dander, every stray light-colored hair from another pet shows up like a beacon. This means black cats often benefit from more frequent brushing, not because they shed more, but because the evidence of shedding is more visible on furniture and clothing. Plus, regular brushing helps distribute the natural oils in their coat, which keeps that black fur looking glossy and rich instead of dull or rusty. Speaking of rusty, here's something many black cat owners discover. Their cat isn't quite as black as they used to be. Black cats can develop a reddish or brownish tint to their fur, especially if they spend time in the sun. This is because UV radiation can break down the black pigment, just like how a black car left in the sun for years starts to look faded. It's not harmful, just cosmetic, but if you want to keep your black cat looking like a little panther, limiting sun exposure can help. Some black cats also develop white hairs as they age, particularly around the muzzle and face. This is completely normal and actually quite distinguished looking, like a cat version of going gray. White cats, on the other hand, have a different grooming challenge: staying white. If you've ever owned a white cat, you know the struggle. That pristine white fur shows every tiny smudge, every bit of dirt, every tear stain. White cats who groom themselves excessively around the mouth can develop reddish-brown staining from their saliva, particularly noticeable on their paws. Keeping a white cat looking clean often requires special grooming products designed for light-colored coats. Some owners use waterless shampoos or grooming wipes designed to remove stains. And if you have a white cat who goes outdoors, well, good luck keeping them pristine. They're going to come home looking like they've been exploring a coal mine. Both black and white cats need regular dental care, but it's worth noting that dental issues can sometimes be more visible in white cats. That yellowish discoloration on teeth shows up more starkly against white fur, which can actually be a good thing because it reminds owners to stay on top of dental health. Now let's dive into something that has shaped how humans have treated these cats for centuries: the myths, the superstitions, and the cultural baggage that black and white cats carry. Imagine living in medieval Europe. It's the 1200s, and fear of witchcraft is spreading across the continent like wildfire. The Catholic Church has declared that cats, particularly black cats, are associated with devil worship and witchcraft. Women who fed stray cats were accused of being witches. Black cats were hunted, tortured, and killed by the thousands. This persecution wasn't just cruel, it was ecologically disastrous. With fewer cats to hunt them, rat populations exploded. And those rats carried fleas, and those fleas carried plague. Some historians believe that the mass killing of cats, particularly black cats, contributed to the severity of the Black Death, which killed an estimated 75 to 200 million people, all because of superstition about fur color. The association between black cats and bad luck persisted for centuries, and in some places still exists today. In the United States and many parts of Europe, a black cat crossing your path is considered unlucky. But here's what's fascinating. In other cultures, black cats are symbols of good fortune. In Japan, black cats are thought to bring good luck, particularly to single women seeking love. In Scotland, a black cat appearing on your doorstep signals prosperity. In England, giving a bride a black cat is believed to bring good luck in marriage. White cats, meanwhile, have generally enjoyed better press throughout history. In many cultures, white animals are associated with purity, divinity, or good fortune. Ancient Egyptians revered white cats, and in Islamic tradition, the Prophet Muhammad was said to have loved cats, including white ones. But white cats haven't been entirely free from superstition either. In some cultures, dreaming of a white cat is considered a bad omen. And in parts of the United States, there's an old belief that white cats are more likely to be ghosts or spirits in feline form. The point is, all of these beliefs are completely made up. They're cultural stories we tell ourselves, and they have nothing to do with the actual cats. Yet here we are, centuries later, and these superstitions still affect real cats in real shelters, waiting for real homes. Let me share something with you that might break your heart a little, but it's important, you know. Picture a family walking into an animal shelter, ready to adopt. They're excited, the kids are bouncing around, everyone's looking forward to bringing home a new furry family member. They walk past the cat area, and there they are, rows of cats in kennels, each one hoping this is the family that chooses them. And time after time, study after study has shown the same heartbreaking pattern. Black cats are adopted significantly less frequently than cats of other colors. Some shelters report that black cats wait up to 4 times longer to be adopted than cats with lighter colored coats. Why? The reasons are complex and honestly, pretty frustrating. Some people still harbor those old superstitions about black cats and bad luck, even if they don't consciously believe them. It's like a cultural hangover that affects behavior without people even realizing it. Others say black cats don't photograph well, which matters in an age where people share pictures of their pets constantly on social media. Black cats can appear as just a dark blob in photos, unless you have really good lighting. This is such a recognized phenomenon that some shelters have started, using professional photography with special lighting to help black cats look their best in adoption photos. And then there's simple visibility. In a kennel with fluorescent lighting, a black cat can fade into the shadows, while a white cat or a colorful tabby catches the eye immediately. It's not that people are actively discriminating, they're just literally not seeing the black cat. White cats, while generally adopted more quickly than black cats, face their own challenge. Some people hesitate to adopt white cats because they're worried about the visibility of shedding on dark furniture or the maintenance required to keep white fur clean. But here's what I want you to understand. Every single one of these reasons is superficial and fixable. That black cat who's been waiting in the shelter for 6 months isn't less affectionate, less playful, or less deserving of a home than the tabby who got adopted after 3 days. That white cat who sheds on your couch isn't more difficult than any other cat. You just notice the fur more. And about those photos? Let me tell you something. Once you love a cat, once they're your cat, you will figure out how to take the most gorgeous photos of them. You'll learn the angles, you'll find the lighting, and you'll fill your phone with 1,000 pictures of your little black panther or your snowy white cloud. Because when you love them, you see them. Really see them. I've fostered dozens of cats over the years. Black ones, white ones, every color in between. And I can tell you without hesitation that some of the most incredible cats I've ever known were solid black or solid white. The black cat who learned to play fetch and would bring me hair ties at 3 a.m. The white cat who appointed herself the official greeter for every person who entered my home, deaf but absolutely fearless and full of love. Their color was just the wrapping paper. The real gift was who they were as individuals. If you're thinking about adopting a cat, I'm asking you, really asking you, to give the black cats a chance. Spend time with them. Let them headbutt your hand. Watch them play. See them for who they are, not what color they are. And if you already have a black or white cat at home, give them an extra snuggle today. They're carrying the weight of centuries of human nonsense about what their fur color supposedly means. But you know better. You know that whether your cat is black as midnight or white as fresh snow, they're just a cat. A perfect, individual, irreplaceable cat who chose to share their life with you. Before we wrap up, let's address one more thing. What if you have both? What if you're lucky enough to share your home with both a black cat and a white cat? First of all, congratulations on having a living yin and yang symbol in your house. The visual contrast alone must be striking. But beyond aesthetics, having both can actually be really interesting from a behavioral standpoint. Cats don't see each other's colors the way we do. They don't look at their black feline roommate and think, "Ah, yes, the dark mysterious one." They communicate through scent, body language, and vocalization. Your black and white cats are relating to each other as individuals with distinct personalities, territories, and social positions, none of which have anything to do with their fur color. But you might notice something interesting. In photos or even just watching them together, you can see their body language more clearly because of the contrast. A white cat's tail position shows up dramatically against dark furniture. A black cat's ear position is more visible against a light wall. In a weird way, having cats of contrasting colors can actually help you become better at reading feline body language because you can see it more distinctly. Some multi-cat households even report that visitors can more easily tell the cats apart when they're strikingly different colors, which means each cat gets recognized as an individual rather than just one of the cats. And being seen as an individual is important for a cat's emotional well-being. So whether you're team black, team white, or team all cats, regardless of color, what matters is understanding that these animals are individuals first and colored second. The next time someone tells you that black cats are unlucky or white cats are prissy, you can smile and share what you now know. You can explain that coat color is just genetics, that personality is individual, and that the only bad luck associated with black cats is the bad luck of shelters full of wonderful black cats waiting for someone to see past superstition. And if you're in a position to adopt, consider being that someone. Consider being the person who looks at a black cat who's been waiting months for a home and says, "You know what? You're perfect, let's go home." Because at the end of the day, whether your cat is black, white, orange, gray, tabby, calico, or any combination thereof, they all do the same things. They all knock things off counters at 3 a.m. They all demand food precisely 17 minutes before their scheduled feeding time. They all find the one spot on the couch you are about to sit in and claim it as their own. They're all cats. Gloriously, frustratingly, perfectly cats. If you found this deep dive into black versus white cats helpful, make sure you're subscribed to CatRules because we have more cat comparison videos coming up. Next time, we'll be looking at kittens versus adult versus senior cats. And trust me, you don't want to miss what we've discovered about how age affects everything from play behavior to bonding capacity. Drop a comment below and tell me, do you have a black cat, a white cat, or both? What's one thing about your cat that defies the stereotypes about their color? I read every single comment, and I love hearing your stories. Until next time, cat lovers, give your feline friends some extra love, regardless of what color they happen to be. We'll see you in the next video.